Woonsocket.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Well, good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time right here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. It is November the 6th. I'm Joe Callahan. We go around the Coffee Ann table, say good morning to Mr. Bob Lauder. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. Sue Tessier McKenzie is here as well. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
Warm enough for you?
It's a little chilly, but I'm
doing okay in the turtleneck.
Make sure you dress properly.
Yeah, that's right. John Ward is here as well.
Properly.
Well, thank you.
I hate it. It's cold.
John's got his hoodie on, so he's
I'm
all
ready
set
for
too.
summer.
How come I'm the only one in short sleeves?
I'm ready for spring.
You went to
I am notoriously
Idaho. You know, you're.
Well, I
I'm
have the
notoriously
sweatshirt-
warm.
I have the sweatshirt on because I have short
Short
sleeves.
sleeves.
on.
Okay. Well, I don't have a sweatshirt on. When I was out in Idaho, they actually got it was weird how the Gulf Stream, how the winds went. So I actually hit it. It was actually pretty warm. The winds came in, and as soon as it hit Idaho, it dropped low and went under the state. From what I could remember, so everything above it was relatively warm, and everything to the south was really cold. So, but I was able to go skiing. I was happy about that.
Okay, I was just thinking that probably explains why Manitoba and Alberta are considered to be hotspots of the Canadian provinces.
Well, we didn't think about that kind of stuff, but I'll go.
okay.
We'll say okay, Bob. All right. Now, we'll get to you a little later because we got good law stuff coming up. But just a little housekeeping. We got the press release in from the mayor. Mayor Chris Beauchamp announces the city of Woonsocket is partnering in a partnership with the United Veterans Council of Woonsocket will hold its annual Veterans Day observance on Tuesday, November the 11th at 11 a.m. Ceremony will take place at the United Veterans Council Armed Forces Park on Davison Avenue. ON Radio will once again broadcast the event live. In the event of inclement weather, and it looks like it's going to be sunny so far this coming Tuesday. A little windy, though, but it will be sunny. But the event of inclement weather, the ceremony will be moved to Harris Hall at Woonsocket City Hall. Any changes in location will be heard right here on ON Radio. All right. Well, now that that's out of the way, the fights just continue at Woonsocket High School.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no
Three
kidding, huh?
more arrests.
Three girls.
And, you know, I wanted to ask the police chief when he was here a couple of weeks ago, what is the breakdown between the boys and the girls in fighting? And I think it's actually there's more girls are fighting. And so 3 females were arrested yesterday. They all got arrested. Yes, Bob, you look confused.
No, I'm not confused. I'm just
Okay.
stunned.
Oh, okay. 2 16-year-olds and 1 14-year-old. And the way I'm reading it, from what if you am going by other stories I'm reading, is that the 2 16-year-olds are jumping the 14-year-old. Because the mom of the 14-year-old said her daughter.
Sure there's absolute justification.
Well, the mom of the 14-year-old, who's a freshman at Woonsocket High, says she's been jumped twice now by the same group. One happened in September, and the other just happened yesterday. So she fought back, so that's why she was arrested too. The mom is saying she doesn't know who these other older girls are,
Well, she
and
will
doesn't
now.
know why they're doing it. Now, maybe the daughter knows and just hasn't told her.
Right.
I'm sure the daughter must know for some reason. And then, I don't know if you read it, but then the mom said these two 16-year-old girls came to her house looking to fight the 14-year-old now. They wanted more.
You know, being a woman
Okay.
and having been in high school many, many years ago, first of all, fights took place then, too.
Physical punching? Or just,
Okay.
scratching and
Okay.
pulling,
Okay.
hair pulling and like
So,
that.
I was involved in one of those fights.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it was because I worked in a retail store. Somebody came in to that store that I went to school with,
All right.
a grade older,
Okay.
a grade higher than me, and she stole a dress
Oh, wow.
from, in my opinion, that was my store.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It was very personal. So the next day I went to school. I was furious. I don't think I slept that night. I was so upset. And I know she stole it because I gave her the dress to go try on. And next thing you know, we found that censure tag in the fitting room.
Okay.
So the next morning,
Spot her at school?
worse, because anybody that knows me knows I will never back away from a situation,
okay.
and I will always stand for what's right. So I called her,
Oh,
and I
accused?
I was full on
Oh, okay.
like on the phone, like yeah.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, she came to school and she knew where I was at X time. And I was with many other friends at the time. And she came to school to fight me.
Really?
And I wasn't walking away. And then a music teacher tried to break it up. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize that if a teacher gets involved, as they should, they're in the line of fire.
Oh, sure. They could get hit.
So
or
because
kicked
you
or
are
whatever.
one person and you can only hold one person.
Yeah.
So that doesn't go well. Mm-hmm. Sadly, it doesn't go well. It shouldn't be happening in the first place. But it was something that took place out of school.
Okay.
But you hear things with girls. She's prettier than me. She has nicer clothes than me. Or my boyfriend likes her. So now they
she looked
go
at my boyfriend.
And so it can be the simplest of things.
Yeah.
This young girl, this 14-year-old, may be a pretty girl.
Yeah.
Whether she's popular in school or not is neither here nor there. But then these other people just don't like it because she has a lot of friends. Or, like you say, the boyfriend. You looked at my boyfriend. And it just becomes a to-do. And oftentimes, the people instigating the fight, their boyfriend, they broke up 2 years ago. But now seeing this 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So now the big to-do comes all over again. Those are the kind of things that happen with young girls.
And it's worse now because of phones. And
Yeah.
You put out the notice. So-and-so, if you even have a name, looked at my boyfriend, so I'm going to beat her up.
Yep.
And you put it out to all your friends. And
That's not justification?
I don't know. Hey, John,
ask Bob. He's a lawyer.
if you were back in high school again, wouldn't you really want to have girls fighting over you? Wouldn't that sort of increase
It would have
your...
been interesting because I went to Mount.
Okay.
There were no girls. There were
Yeah,
no
it would
girls
be
in the-
interesting in an all-boys
no
school.
girls enrolled when I attended.
Okay.
So, yes, it would have been very interesting.
Of course, I saw all the posts, social media about the fight from yesterday, and of course they're calling. We got to expel all these girls or any of the people that fight. And the problem is you can't. You can't expel them. It's state
No.
law. You
No,
just can't
no.
do it.
How
Now
do you
what-
address the situation, though?
Well, I was just going to ask now, and you may know that, and of course, what I'm saying is just like throwing it out there. So it's not the solution, and nobody needs to call me and say, well, you can't do that. Logistically, everything has an issue, like you just said. You can't legally expel them.
Right.
But with these kids, now you have a couple of classrooms set aside where the trouble students will now be taught in those confined areas.
But they still must be taught about proper social interaction.
Oh, 100%.
The problem is as much about the students as it is about the parents who raise the students
Yep.
who would
Who say it's okay.
dare to go to someone's house
Yeah.
to want to fight with someone. What are the parents of those two girls teaching them at home? And when do you stop that sequence?
That
Because
cycle?
if those girls feel as if that's a proper thing to do, they're going to soon be raising children taught the same
Doing
way.
the same way. And that's
their
could
grandchildren.
be
And
what
after that,
happened
generationally,
then.
it'll continue.
And that could be exactly where it comes
So
from.
how do you
From the
cut
parent.
it off? And that's one of the complaints I've always had about the state is when they funding. They talk about teachers. They talk about teacher aides for special ed kids. What's the matter? You don't like me touching the wire and making noise in
Please,
your ears?
it knocked it out. Don't touch the wires.
So they talk about teachers, teacher aides, and janitors and administrators and such, but they fail to recognize the deeper social issues that are family issues when trying to educate children, in that they need better socialization skills, they need better family interaction and support, and families sometimes need support. So I've always contended that what's lacking in our school system is more of a, we have health issues that we take care of with nurses now in school because they have to take in those kids too. when are we going to get the social workers and the family counselors that are going to be there so when a child does something like this, it's not sufficient just to deal with the child in the building. It becomes a family intervention issue by some professionals who will literally go to that house, get in that room with the parent and the child, and have real conversations about what they should be doing and what they should not be doing and how they can change their behavior.
100%. But in the meantime, if they are at least separated, because there are a lot of parents afraid to send their kids to school. And, that needs to be, it has to start at home. Many, many years ago, my son is 31, my youngest is 31. I smacked him on the butt if he misbehaved. I didn't beat him. I didn't abuse him. But you know what? That's, how I was raised, we were all raised. And unfortunately, people take that to the extreme, and now you get bigger problems, different issues. But it's all the parent. It goes back to the parents. I don't care what anybody says.
Bob,
it's
you
not
have
up to
any
the
thoughts?
teachers.
I like John's very well thought out answer. The next part is, how do we actually get that to go forward? Is that something that a local school board can do in creating its...
I was just going to say, it's all about funding.
So, I mean, our class sizes in a city like Woonsocket, though they say, oh, you get so much funding from the state, but our class sizes, on average, are equal to the suburban communities. And how that is a failure is that because we have so many special ed group classrooms that have very low student-teacher ratios, that means the rest of our classrooms have the full complement of 25 to 30 students. Where in the suburbs, they have fewer of those low student-teacher ratio special ed classes because most of them move to the urban centers where the services are provided. And so their average classroom size is between 12 and 15 students. So they have more hands-on time from teachers with students, where in a city like Woonsocket, where you have more socially challenged kids who are distracted and otherwise don't have good family supports, they've got a lot more kids and they can't really devote them the attention and the time they need to them. So the balance of service delivery is so out of whack. And I hate to say it, but I blame it entirely on our General Assembly and the attitude of those who are out in the suburbs who are very comfortable to say, oh, no, we give them enough money. They should be able, they just don't know how to manage the school system. And I say, up yours.
Okay. I thought of this, Bob, and I still don't know if this is a viable, what you can do, but you take the people that are fighting, and maybe you give them one strike. I don't know. But if you're a repeat offender of the fighting, okay, you take them out of the school during the day, you put them, because John says you got to educate them for whatever reason. You put them in a night school and say, that's it. If you're 15, 16, 17, 18, I don't care what your age is. You're gonna go to school at night with the other miscreants, and we're gonna teach you how to pass the GED test. And you're just gonna get your GED, and once you pass it, you're out. We've educated you. You're just gone. I feel bad for the teachers that would have to teach that class, by the way, at night.
Yeah, right.
But I thought
you have to have an armed guard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously.
We got to take the fighters out, put them in where they won't affect other kids, and just we're going to teach you the GED, how to pass the GED test, and there you go.
You teach them that at night, and so they roam on the streets during the day, and they're causing problems in society.
But we've stopped educating them when we've got them out of the school.
But that's where I said put them in separate classrooms where, down this hall, there's your classroom.
Yeah, but then you got to give them lunch, and they can still get together and still beat up
but
whoever
like
they
he
want to
just
beat
said,
up.
you're not going to win. You're going to have the daytime or the nighttime ruckus. But you get them into the building. Now you're not funding-wise. I mean, it's so minimal. But now you don't have to add to that funding by, having a building occupied at night.
All right.
Now you can.
You're going to have to feed them in prison anyway, Joe.
That's true. Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, it comes back to what John was saying. It's the money. Now, we have representatives and senators in our state legislature. Do you think that there's much of a forward movement to try and get this kind of funding?
I've seen them fight for it every year, but it butts heads with those in the suburbs, like the Barringtons, East Greenwiches, and Narragansetts.
The richer communities.
That just sort of, you've got your problems, deal with them.
Yeah. The other problem, you brought it up a couple of minutes ago, John, about going to go to their homes and you got to talk to the parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't 100% guarantee it, but I can just see it happening when they get in front of the parents, and the parents are going to say, "I've told my child to go do what you have to do." Mm-hmm. You're not going to change the parents' attitude. They've told their kid to go out and beat up whoever you want to beat up. If they disrespected you, take care of them. And if you can't change the parents' attitude, you're not going to change the kid's attitude.
Then stop making the parents more responsible.
How?
Well,
Make them pay?
have them pay for the fines.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be, no matter what, we can all sit here and come up with a different solution to the problem that you can put all together and, okay, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that will work. It still needs to be sustainable. You still need to be able to implement it, and you still need to have the funding. No matter which course of action is taken, funding comes into play.
It always comes down to money.
I think Israel has a possible solution to our problem. What do you have to do in Israel when you hit a certain age?
Oh, you go to the military.
Boom.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Required
Still 2 years?
mandatory national service. 2
All
years.
Right.
As an indoctrination into adulthood, where parents.
But you can't do that with 16-year-olds.
Why not?
In the Army?
Why not?
Because they're not adults.
Service. I said service. I didn't say military necessarily.
Well,
There
what
used to be a
service?
show about that, and they were younger teens, and I forget the name of the show.
Into like a military service kind of
It
thing?
wasn't military.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a training school. It was, this is what comes next. And it was almost a preempt to prison.
Yeah, it was
But
it was like showing them what it's like to be in prison.
Yeah,
Like a Scared
I
Straight.
forget that.
Scared Straight, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But what I've heard about sending people into the military is the military kicks them out during boot camp because they can't do.
I'm not. That's
Or
why
they can't run a mile.
I'm not saying military service in the terms of putting them in the army.
Service, yeah.
I'm talking about a service.
Oh, okay.
And it will require. There won't be any throwing out. It will require physical activity. It will require balanced nutrition and meals. It will require that they live away from their families and they be trained by people who are going to show them what it's like to be responsible people.
How to be a human.
And if they're out of shape, they will gradually get into shape, but they don't have to
eventually.
do it in the next 6 months so they can go to war. It's so that they can go do work out in the countryside, doing things that are physical labor, that are challenging, that make them think, that teach them how to work in groups, to coordinate good sound plans for how they deal with tomorrow morning. And, no alcohol, no smoking, no cell phones.
I was just going to say, no cell phones.
No technology.
Sounds like the Civilian Conservation Corps back
Yes,
in
pretty much.
FDR's period in
Yeah.
the 30s.
Right.
All right.
But it's not for economic good, it's for societal good.
Right. We're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, so more coming your way. Please stick around.
First news and best variety of music. ON 1240. Let's check out the entertainment at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. Tomorrow night, Friday, November 7th from 8 to 10. Chan's presents Martha's Vineyard and Boston band specializing in bluesy dance music. It's Johnny Hoy and the Bluefish. 25 in advance, 30 at the door. Then on Saturday night, Ladies of Blues and Soul. Yes, November 8th from 8 to 10 at Chan's, a one-of-a-kind supergroup of powerhouse band leaders, each performing their own original music as well as blues and R&B classics, featuring Mayana, Diane Blue, Alison Lissance, Sandy Martin, Wendy Sobel, and Kathy Berkeley. 20 in advance, 25 at the door at Chan's. And coming up on Monday, John Chan will be with us in the studio on the Coffee and program for a quick interview. Tune in at 8:15 this coming Monday on Coffee and. That's Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, where they have great food, too. Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777 or biglou.com.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
Here it is, Coffee and on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier-McKenzie, and John Ward. And Sue, time for first message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times.
Good morning. So as I stated previously, the past couple weeks, the voting is done. We are having our certificates printed up, so hopefully we will be getting those very soon, within the next couple weeks. Because there are a lot. We have many newspaper groups. There's like 16 different papers that we're all affiliated with. That and the fact that some of our holiday deadlines have already been reached, but we do have a lot coming up on a daily basis, being a daily paper, as well as, that's not my phone.
That's mine.
That is Joe. Mine is silenced. So we do have a lot of options available, be it print or digital. So if you're interested in any holiday advertising, you can call my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
All right, Bob.
Bob's looking at me with amazement because I do that without a piece of paper in front of me.
It's amazing. It's outstanding. All right, Bob. Are you following what's going on with the school in the high school in Smithfield?
Only what I read in the newspaper.
All
yes.
right. I'm looking at it yesterday, and from the legal standpoint, now the 5 football players that were suspended and then brought back, they've all got a lawyer.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, they keep coming out and saying, well, this is, we didn't know the other kid was Jewish. That's what they're saying now. And the whole thing was locker room antics. I love that. That's in quotes. And they weren't doing anything bad.
And they're all friends. I heard that one too.
Well, the 5 of them are all friends.
No.
And the freshman?
That's what they said. They're all friends.
From the lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, so is that a good tactic? We just go in and we just deny. Deny that anything was anti-Semitic. Deny that it was a hate crime.
I think that if you are ever accused of something that is a criminal activity, your starting point is you're going to say, I'm not guilty.
And I didn't do
and
it.
it is your responsibility to prove that I am.
Okay.
And so that's basically what the 5 kids are apparently saying. I'm not guilty. Or I'm not admitting guilt.
And so they're saying the 5 are saying that the freshman, now they're all seniors, so their freshman is a good friend of theirs, huh? I find that a little hard to believe.
But they're also saying that, you're hearing all these things being thrown out.
Well, sure.
Initiation. Oh, we do this all the time. Find another kid that had exactly that thing happen that is not Jewish. Find it.
Go.
There's got to be. If that's what you do all the time, there has to be others.
Well, I did see part of the article that said that usually there's an adult in the same locker room with the kids.
There should be.
When I was back in high school, back when Abraham Lincoln and I were walking to school together,
the coach was
over on Villanova.
Yeah.
The gym classes, there was the gym teacher was right there in the locker room to see what was going on.
This wasn't gym class though. This was
football
practice. But you're right. Because I played soccer and baseball, and the coaches were always in the locker room, or the office was right outside.
Yeah.
They were always in there while we were in the locker room changing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another question I've had because I can't believe you haven't heard anything from the football coach on this at all.
As I've read the stories, I've had one thing that causes me to think that there's something to it, or that the superintendent is just a fool and made a foolish statement, because right at the beginning, every report says, at the outset, the superintendent had announced that they were investigating an anti-Semitic incident
That's right.
and had suspended the students. now.
For the rest of
and
the
then
year.
sent them for training related to
Yeah, they're going to go do Holocaust,
Holocaust.
training. Yeah.
So
And then that all
she
stopped.
she laid the groundwork for
An
the validity
anti-Semitic.
of the claim.
Yeah, and now they're saying, "Oh no, that
And
didn't
then
happen."
and then now she's on leave, probably appropriate. But
Paid administrative
to get
leave,
into
yeah.
denial is to simply say that the superintendent got it completely wrong, wasted everybody's time on Holocaust training because it was totally unnecessary, and these kids have been denying it from the outset, but the superintendent didn't believe them. Okay, I have trouble with that.
Bob, about this, because they were suspended and then they were put back on the team. Do you think it's a possibility that a lawyer somehow got to the superintendent and said, "You will put these kids back on the team. You will drop the suspension because they haven't been convicted of anything. And you, as a superintendent, cannot be the judge and the jury and the executioner. And if you keep up what you're doing, we're going to sue the school." And they get very freaked out when people say we're going to sue the school system.
I wouldn't be speculating as to whether or not any of the lawyers for the various kids made that kind of an argument. It's always possible. But to go back to what John was talking about, and they're now referring it to as an investigation without using the word anti-Semitic, I suppose the only close analogy one could make on that is if you have a murder, or what you believe to be a murder, and you're investigating it, and you're constantly saying that X, Y, and Z people are being investigated for a murder, that taints the reputation of those individuals, whether or not they're ever actually convicted or ever actually proved to have been involved in the murder. So the school may be saying, okay, we're going to just refer to it as a football incident in public, but we really know that this is because of the allegations of anti-Semitism. It may just be they're trying to not extend the amount of the allegation in public, but it's a very serious allegation.
Okay.
And yeah, they should be following through and investigating it.
I brought it up yesterday because I can't believe that we haven't heard from the coach. I don't know why the coach just didn't suspend him off the team immediately.
By the way, I need to cut in because you mentioned that it's possible that a lawyer got to the superintendent. But
Yes.
the superintendent reversed herself after one day of training, which happened the next day. So I don't even know that those kids would have had a lawyer to come
By then.
threaten.
Okay.
And I get the feeling, frankly, that there's more to it as a possibility that the athletic director and coach, the big jock kids in the block in schools, said, "You're going to ruin our football season. You can't do this."
Well, she reinstated.
And so she reinstated them almost immediately.
That's what you'd see movies on that.
Yeah, that's right. And they were reinstated just in time for senior night.
Yeah, what do you know?
Yep, there are
how about
movies
that?
on that. I mean, seriously.
I also don't know why the Rhode Island Interscholastic League has not said anything. Now, they're not in charge of discipline, and I understand that part. But why haven't they come out and said, "Oh, hazing's bad, and we're against it, and this should never happen"? Haven't heard a word from them either.
Because they like hazing, because they're all jocks.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, anyway, that's what's going on. And the superintendent, who I think has handled this poorly, I don't have all the facts, but I think she's just done a lousy job with this. She's on paid administrative leave while the investigation goes on. And the attorney general's involved, Bob. They're doing an investigation too. So
Good.
This is going to go on and on and on. All right, and then we have this bizarre story down in Providence where this 14-year-old boy pulls a knife, decides to rob an 11-year-old. The 11-year-old had 50 cents. It's probably his bus fare to get home. But he was caught and he was arrested, and the victim was not injured, so that was good. The suspect, and we can't give any names because they're children, we can't gotta coddle them, that was taken into custody, charged with first-degree robbery and possession of a weapon on school grounds. And they don't say what school this took place at in Providence. But
I did not see
things
that.
are
and
bad when the 14-year-old is pulling a knife on an 11-year-old and said, "Give me your money."
It goes back to what John and Sue were talking about earlier in the Woonsocket system.
Back to families.
Back to families, yes.
Yeah. Well, I bet if you go to the kid's family, they're going to say, "Well, we don't care."
Well, that's sadly a lot of what's happening. They're not actually being raised.
Right.
The child is going to go to He's arrested. He's going to go
Yeah.
to family court.
Right.
There's a possibility that the child is actually found guilty and incarcerated.
Get
in
some time?
Yes, it could.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's probably not
Which,
going
by
to
the way,
happen
is
by
another
virtue-
arm of the Rhode Island Department of Education, because it's not prison, it's a training
school. Let's give it back to the prison.
where they go to class and they get educated.
Well, of course they do. All right, we're going to take a break here again on Coffee In. So, Sue, time for your second message, please, from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times.
Okay, so again, as I mentioned the last few weeks, right now the need is tremendous for food. Regardless of whether it's an individual that receives SNAP benefits and is currently not getting them, there are many people that just need some help making the ends meet. That's where we come in and we provide a family of 4 to 5 people with a meal. We do so with business sponsors, corporate sponsors, anything along those lines, real estate, banking, etc. And they provide the meal. It is a cost of $125 for the month of November, $125 for the month of December. And then, of course, we do a special thank you to our sponsors in paper and online. So if you're interested in sponsoring a family with a meal for each of the holidays, please call my cell phone, 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. Time for a look at the forecast, being brought to you by Compassion International.
Increasingly cloudy today with a high of 49 degrees, windy from the northwest up to 40 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 27. West wind calms down to about 10. Friday's weather, increasing clouds with a high near 56. A breezy day with southwest winds up to 25 miles per hour. Friday night, 80% chance of rain showers after 8 p.m. and continuing all night. Low of 48. South winds up to 25 miles per hour. A quarter of an inch is possible overnight Friday night. Saturday, 60% chance of more rain likely, but there will be partial sunshine later in the day, 62 degrees. Sunday, 70% chance of rain likely, mainly in the afternoon, mostly cloudy, high of 59. Monday, partial sunshine, 50 degrees, 40% chance of a shower before 2 p.m. On Tuesday, Veterans Day, mostly sunny with a high of 43 degrees, but a very stiff breeze from the west up to 25 miles per hour. And on Wednesday, partial sunshine, high near 49.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, sunny skies and 46 degrees. It's not too late. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year for a sponsor, and their wait today. Sponsor a child with compassion. Text radio to 83393.
Our family caring for your family. The Holiday Retirement Home is a skilled nursing and rehabilitation facility with a home-like atmosphere where laughter is the best medicine. The Holiday keeps their patients and residents involved in varied activities and events so they have the opportunity to live life to the fullest. The Holiday Retirement Home has their own in-house physical, occupational, and speech therapy staff with more than 300 years of combined experience. Stop in for a tour. The Holiday is right off Route 99 on Sales Hill Road in Manville, and for more information you can visit their website at holidayretirement.com. Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee In right here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with John Ward, Sue Chester McKenzie, and Bob Lauder. And Bob, time for your first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm waiting for Sue to jump in and do these for me. I'd like to talk to you this morning about a decision recently issued by the Rhode Island Supreme Court. The case is that of Griggs & Brown Pest Control versus Walls. Griggs & Brown, the pest control company, hired the defendant as an operator back in 2011. And as a portion of the contract, the defendant signed a non-competition agreement. In 2020, the company offered to train the defendant as a licensed exterminator. in return for which the defendant signed another non-competition agreement under the terms of which he would refrain from soliciting business or performing services for the company's former or current customers for a period of 24 months. In September of 2021, the company updated its employment policy to require that all employees either receive the COVID-19 vaccination or terminate their employment. The defendant refused to receive the vaccination and was terminated. Thereafter, the defendant began to contract the company's former and present clients. The company learned of this and instituted litigation seeking an injunction to prevent the defendant from making such solicitations. The defendant objected to the prospect of an injunction, and among his defenses claimed that the company wrongfully terminated him based on his religious beliefs, and the termination was a violation of the Rhode Island Civil Rights Act. The injunction was granted, and the defendant took an appeal to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court rejected the defendant's arguments that he had been improperly terminated due to his refusal to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and said that the circumstances surrounding his departure were immaterial to the enforcement of the non-competition agreement. The court also found that the company would suffer irreparable harm due to the loss of customer goodwill if the defendant were allowed to continue servicing the company's clients. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, question, Bob.
You asked first.
All right. If you sign, the man signs the non-competition for 2 years, right?
No, he signed it, he signed two of them. One was in 2011, and the other one was in 2020.
Okay, the one in 2020.
And he said he would refrain from soliciting for 24 months after his departure from the company.
Oh, so it doesn't say, so he can't solicit while he's an employee.
And he can't solicit for the 2 months after he's no longer an employee.
No, 24 months.
24 months, rather.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then I heard it wrong. Because it sounded like he could only not solicit while he was an employee, but once they fired him, okay, then it's a free-for-all.
No.
Okay.
No.
So he's going on the whole vaccine thing. Okay. Sue?
The vaccine thing is what got me. I thought you said 2019.
I said 2021,
I
I think, in
Yes.
September
I thought you
2021.
said 2019, and I'm like,
Wasn't COVID
how
then?
did that guy know?
All right, we got a note that was called in, and on a different subject now, we're going on to SNAP benefits. Okay, SNAP, this is like, let's say, infuriating. This person's sister and close friends are sitting on the edge day after day with this lingering situation. In ending, politicians on both sides really do not care about the unfortunates. They should be reprimanded for their actions. That'll never happen. Towards the entire fiasco and be punished for their actions/inactions. That won't happen either. But we heard it on non-national news. It looks like maybe now they're talking like early next week, something might pop. So,
Well,
I don't know.
in my far left position,
Okay.
the Lincoln Project, which is a nonprofit corporation that puts out very anti-President Trump commercials, has one recently which was, I thought, very effective. And it takes portions of speeches that the president had made during, I think it was Obama's administration, when there was a lockdown. And in the speeches, the president is saying that a real leader should try and get the parties together and get them into the same room and work with them to see if they can work out a compromise, which would, to me, seem to be a logical way for the present administration to address this issue. The present administration right now is saying, we're not going to become involved at all. It's entirely up to you, and not taking any kind of a leadership role in resolving what's turning into be a significant crisis.
So you're trying to use logic with the politicians, Bob.
Maybe.
Bob.
Now, hold on. Let me just back up for a minute
All right.
and go ahead.
No. If I were to send you, and first off, the Lincoln Project actually, I think those are Republicans actually that
Yes.
are opposed to Trump. If I were to send you all the videos of senior level politicians saying one thing then and a complete opposite thing now, you would have to spend 2 full days just watching videos, because they all do it. I watched a video of Obama screaming about how dare the Congress shut down, let the government be shut down to try to force me to do something, and I'm not going to do it. And he was just ranting about it. I've seen Joe Biden talk about on those criminal bills back in the 1990s that wanted to throw people in jail, and these people were living in a jungle. To if you vote for him, you're putting yourself back in chains. They're all hypocrites.
Well,
all of them.
Well, that's what the caller says too. They're,
including Trump.
That part is
They change their story depending upon which side of the issue the other guy's on.
I hate to keep agreeing with John. This is destroying my entire persona.
Sorry,
but
Bob.
I still think that it would be important for the president to take some kind of action to bring the parties together, get involved in it, try and resolve this, as opposed to basically standing aside and saying,
someone else figure it out.
Let the country have terrible consequences because I'm not going to
You are
become a
absolutely
leader.
correct, and no president will ever do it.
Okay, see?
Wow.
Look at this.
Getting along nicely.
Right? They're playing so nice.
It's in the sand.
Let's get to the Supreme Court hearing on the tariffs.
Nah, let's not.
Yeah, we're not going there.
That's a good story.
What's that?
John has
The Supreme Court's going to decide against Trump. I
know that.
Better
I
than
heard that
even odds.
yesterday. Yeah.
Better than even odds, and I'm saying it's going to be at least 6-3, with
Really?
Roberts. Which
Are we
name?
going to start gambling in the morning here? Is that, what are your odds, Bob?
It's going to be Roberts, Comey Barrett, and Gorsuch, guaranteed voting with the 3 liberal justices against Trump, with the possibility of Kavanaugh and who am I missing here? I think Kavanaugh may jump in too, so it may be 6-3 or 7-2 against Trump's tariffs.
All right. Other things going on. Convicted child rapist in Rhode Island will remain behind bars. I guess he was up for parole. According to Channel 12, the Rhode Island Parole Board has denied Richard Gardner's parole request without further consideration. What does that mean, Bob, when they say they deny your request for bail without further consideration?
I would imagine they're not going to have a hearing on it, the parole board.
Without
Okay.
further consideration, meaning we don't want to hear anymore.
I guess not done. Last year, Gardner was sentenced to serve at least 8 years in prison. He pleaded no contest to felony fraud charges. Somehow he was stealing thousands of free play dollars at Bally's Twin River Casino from other gamblers. I don't know how he did
play
it.
dollars? I haven't been to the gambling
People
casino
that-
in a long time.
I think it's when you're playing the slot machines.
All right, maybe we won't start
And
gambling
you
here
just
in the morning.
you just rack up. You don't have to keep putting money in. You've racked up free plays somehow.
Okay. All right.
But how you steal it from other people, that I have no idea. So
Now, is Sue
digitally.
saying that we shouldn't be doing gambling here because she thinks we're not really that
We are
savvy?
inept
Or she
to
doesn't
gambling.
want me to be the bank
Inept.
who's holding
We
the
are
money?
inept to gambling, apparently. Somebody would inevitably steal all our money.
who would
You're
that
not
be?
looking at him right here.
Whoever
Well, you're
would
looking
get
at the
into
four of
the
us.
whole, yeah.
All right. Well, back to the government shutdown once again. They're starting to make the announcements, and boy, I feel bad for you if you got to fly anytime soon, because they're cutting everybody's cutting back.
10% of the flights being cut back.
Yeah, Logan International in Boston is on the list of 40 U.S. airports having their flight capacity reduced by 10%. The 40 airports, I don't think Green is on there, but you never know. The 40 airports on the list are among the busiest in the nation, so that means O'Hare and LaGuardia and Kennedy and LAX and like that. With the reduction in flights beginning as early as today, the cuts are an effort to reduce pressure on air traffic controllers who continue to work long hours without pay during the government shutdown. It's expected the reduction in flights will impact thousands of passengers far beyond the 40 designated airports.
Does this
yeah.
really necessary? They're talking about the air traffic controllers being terribly overworked, and they're
And
not getting
not
paid.
getting paid,
All right,
yeah.
but they're terribly overworked even when they are getting paid. And are they arguing that air traffic controllers are saying, since I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to go into work today. In fact, I'm going to try and get a job.
That's what they're doing.
Packing
Many others have already done
groceries
that.
in stores.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
And they've been calling out sick. I don't feel well.
So they're not going to work
Yeah.
because they're not getting paid, and some have, in fact, had to get other jobs.
What other kinds of jobs would be immediately available?
Oh, you
Oh,
could,
there are many.
oh, you could go to
There's a
Walmart,
lot.
or you can go to
You could go
Kohl's,
anywhere,
or
yeah.
go, especially now, holiday season.
Yep.
Home Depot, Lowe's,
Welcome to Walmart.
they'll take you in. And,
They're just desperate to
we
get.
need you to stock shelves. Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll.
Somebody was on
When can you start? Right now.
a TSA agent was on the news recently, a couple of days, and he
That's right.
said,
They're not getting paid
he said,
either.
I should not have to go to a soup kitchen when I work for the federal government. And that's what he's had to
They're
do.
fortunate in this regard. If they do go to work for Home Depot just to be able to put food on the table, when this is all over, the chances of them getting their job back are pretty high because there's not a lot of people trained to be
Yeah,
air traffic
right.
controllers. So they'll be looking to fill those slots again, and they'll just come back and say, okay, I'm here.
Yep. So it's air traffic control, TSA, security, all of those departments within are what's being affected. So TSA agents are not showing up for work and having to get a job.
And that slows you down if you have to fly
That's right.
going through the airport.
I didn't realize that jobs would be that easily available for them. That was part of my.
Oh, you got to
Because
go
it's
in and
holiday
fill out
season.
the form and get. But you see them like I'm going to use the Lowe's. If you, I
Holiday
think it's
help.
Holiday help. Be interviewed immediately.
Yep.
Can I talk to just fill out the application form? Can I speak to the manager right now?
Oh, if I wanted to fill
And
in
they
some
will.
time,
Yep. You can
I
walk
could,
out of
I
there
could
with the
walk
blue
into
vest.
many
right.
locations and just say I'm ready to work, and they'll
Right
say,
now.
"But you're 70." I'll say, "Yeah, but I just want to make some money during the season. I'll be working within 24 hours."
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And after New Year's, okay, thanks, and you're done.
But some people, that's the plan.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break here in the Coffee AM program. So, Bob, time for your second message from your law office.
Good morning. This is Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk to you this morning about a case involving time. The case involving time is the question is, when is 30 days just 30 days? And the case is entitled Matthias versus Matthias. The case began over a dispute as to whether or not an individual had testamentary capacity to execute a last will and testament, or whether the individual was incompetent at that time. The case was heard in a probate court, and after the probate court judge made a decision, one of the parties filed an appeal in the Superior Court. The rules of court state that an appeal must be filed in the appropriate court within 30 days of the probate court decision. But in this case, the 30 days ended on a Saturday. The petitioner filed on Monday, but the respondent claimed that this was 32 days after the decision and was therefore defective. The petitioner claimed that if he'd filed on Friday, he would only been granted 29 days in which to file the decision. An issue before the Supreme Court, under the circumstances, is 30 days actually 29 days, or is it actually 32 days? The court ruled in favor of the 32 days. Citing a case from 1878, the court ruled, wherever by a rule of court or an act of the legislature a number of days are allowed to do an act, it is said that the act must be done within a given number of days. The day in which the rule is taken or the decision is made is excluded, and if one or more of the days is a Sunday and occurs within the time, they are counted unless the last day falls on a Sunday, in which case the act may be done on the next day. Now, this license was also extended to apply to holidays in 1937. Since the courts were closed on Saturdays, the 30 days actually became the 32 days. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. The disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
A fascinating case.
I like that one.
30 days, 32 days.
I know, right? I'm glad I'm not dealing with it. Bob, give us some meat. I'm sitting here going, what are we arguing about?
That's why statutory language should always specify business days.
Right.
Because it creates impossible scenarios And their decision actually becomes an implication that it is more geared towards legitimacy of functioning only within the business cycle, and they should limit it to that.
Sound about right, Bob?
He gets eloquent too, doesn't he?
He can get eloquent, yes.
Darn.
All right, break time here on the Coffee AM program. More coming up. Stay tuned.
You're tuned to ON, AM, and FM.
Staples presents An Easy Holiday.
Running a small business during the holidays is hard.
No truer words were.
But this year, Staples helped me have an easy holiday.
Your script has a typo.
Nope, easy peasy. I just ordered online at staples.com and picked up in store. And with UPS on site, shipping was easy too. Plus, huge savings on tech, custom cards, even my holiday sale signage.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com today for up to 45% off select laptops.
That was easy.
Ins 12/27.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's high school football playoff time, and this Friday, November the 7th, the Exeter West Greenwich Prout Scarlet Knights travel to North Smithfield to take on the undefeated North Smithfield Northmen. Join Kevin Callahan and Pat Holland live on ON Radio as they bring you the action, all starting at 6 p.m. Rhode Island high school playoff football right here on the one and only ON AM and FM. It is Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier-McKenzie, and John Ward. All right, Bob, you got to be happy when these things, when the lawyers get involved. You're always happy when the lawyers get involved with big corporations because the lawyers make a ton of money doing this kind of stuff. I sure hope so. Instagram, all right? It's a social media channel, Bob. Okay. Mm-hmm. Instagram is being ordered to stop using PG-13 to describe its new teen accounts. You know why?
I heard that on the radio this morning.
The Motion Picture Association, the people that put out the ratings for movies,
right,
they're not happy. PG-13 belongs to us.
Okay.
So they went to their lawyer, drafted whatever you got to draft, and they sent over a cease and desist letter to Instagram's parent company, Meta, which is Facebook, over the use of the ratings. You can't use it, we use it. Come up with something else.
It sounds logical.
On the movies picture, we use it.
If they've trademarked the PG-13, and
I guess they have.
Okay, they have certain standards that they say, in order for us to issue that kind of a rating on one of the products that comes through our company, you have to meet a certain standard. If other people start using that same trademark and they don't have any obligation to meet the standards, it damages the trademark. I can definitely see them suing and saying you can't use it.
That's exactly what they say.
Could they make them pay for it? Like, if you want to use this rating, it's going to cost you because now we are going to have to make sure that you actually meet that criteria, like you just said.
They could license it, yes.
License it.
But all right. Well, you're right, Bob, because that's exactly basically what the MPA lawyers said. It argued that any dissatisfaction with the Instagram setting would cause the public to question the integrity of the MPA's rating system.
True.
If I don't like it on Instagram, well, why should I like it over here with the movies? Kind of
and
thing.
If they've trademarked it, every time that you walk into a CVS or a Walgreens and you look at things that Vaseline is a trademark name. It can only be used by that particular company.
That makes it, okay.
That makes it.
Like
all
Johnson
the other
&
stuff
Johnson?
is marked petroleum jelly.
Right.
It's in packaging that looks very similar to Vaseline, but they can't use the trademark.
Or Kleenex.
Kleenex is another one. Yeah. You got to say facial tissue. You know what another one is?
Well, there's a whole bunch of those.
Band-Aid is one too.
Yes.
Because I worked for at a time I worked for.
Opposed to adhesive bandage.
That's right. I worked for a healthcare company that made what's the word I'm looking for? They were a competition
You
with
can't
Band-Aid.
even use the term Super Bowl.
You can, if you say, okay, the Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday. That's okay. But if you say, hey, come down to Johnny's Bar and Grill for the Super Bowl party, that you can't say.
Exactly.
You can say use that as a news item.
You can say it's this, yeah, but you can't use it in your advertising.
Right.
Actually, one registered trademark I once advised a group to enforce, and they never have really, is Autumn Fest is trademarked, and yet people across the country use it now because
All the time, yeah.
As they started using it across the country, the people who run Autumn Fest in Woonsocket never enforced their trademark, and I'm sure after a time, your right to enforce it must go away if you fail to do it.
Is that true,
And
Bob?
now it's nationwide. People use Autumn Fest, and it's still trademarked to Woonsocket's Autumn Fest.
I'm having a hard time recalling. I remember there was a controversy over the word thermos when it came to vacuum bottles. And I think
That's a trademark.
that
name.
thermos lost on that.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can look
Oh,
that
but-
up. I remember there was an issue in that
Failure
name.
to enforce it.
Right.
Yeah. The old River Falls,
Restaurant?
yep. I don't know if it was Lobster Hut, whatever, or Lobster Restaurant, because the old River Falls used to do like Lobster Mania or whatever it was. They got a cease and desist.
Did they?
Because one of the sales reps I worked with at the time was their ad rep, and they were like, "You got to stop all those ads. We have to,
Stop
whatever."
doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
The closest community that I've seen that has a festival called Autumn Fest besides Woonsocket, West Bridgewater, Mass, which is not that far away, by the way.
No.
But they use the term Autumn
I
Fest for their
remember
weekend
when
thing.
I was concerned about it and I realized that it was trademarked was I started looking, and I think within a few minutes just on Google probably found 20 or 30 across the country.
Wow.
that
Yeah.
use
Well,
Autumn Fest.
okay.
Wow.
All right. Researchers have identified a previously unknown species of spider living in California's greatest, right? Living in California's coastal dunes. The trapdoor spider honors Martina Giselle Ramirez, Dean of the College of Science at California State University, Stanislaus. Once thought to be a close relative, the species was distinguished through UC Davis research. Ramirez's early studies first suggested the spider was unique, highlighting a previously unrecognized resident of the coastal dune ecosystem. Doesn't say if it's dangerous or not, or how big it is.
What did you call it? What was the name of it?
It's a trapdoor spider.
Trapdoor spider.
Yeah.
I got
And then it's got a Latin name that
I
I'm
got
not
a
gonna try to
visual
pronounce.
of these rocks and the spider in a rock just pulling his door closed. That's what I just got.
All right, let's see.
I don't know why. On the coast.
Actually, I think they burrow into a surface and then they cover themselves so they
Okay,
can't
there
be
you go.
seen. Right.
This is not a good story. This is up in Boston. A former nurse at a Boston long-term care facility, have you heard this story?
No.
I did.
Is accused of replacing a hospice patient's oxycodone with household cleaner. Wow. Prosecutors say Lori Robertson of New Hampshire took the drugs from a patient who was nonverbal with dementia in hospice. Robertson has been indicted by a federal grand jury on a charge of tampering with a consumer product. She's due in federal court on November the 24th.
I'm amazed that the patient survived.
Well, hospice,
They were going to
you know,
die
hospice
anyway.
can be looked at in a couple of different
Yeah.
ways, but it's in essence, comfort care. It's not.
It's your last bus stop
Right. He's not getting oxy as a.
to get better.
Right, but if you're
Just to feel
replacing,
better.
you said replacing it with
you
a
know, trying to
household
be-
cleaner,
Yeah.
like bleach.
You sure?
Okay, I would think that
That would kill you.
that
Yeah.
would kill you, and that would be certainly manslaughter at the very least.
But if you're at the point of taking oxy in hospice care, it's because you are at the edge of imminent death. So
That still doesn't mean
all she
that
did.
somebody
Oh
can.
no, I'm not saying.
no,
I'm
no,
just
right.
saying. I'm sure she was just figuring. Well, I can take the oxy. I can give her whatever, and she's going to pass
Nobody's
gonna
away.
die
She's
anyway.
expecting it anyway, so no big deal.
Nobody's going to know the difference.
Yeah, but she got caught.
Which doesn't make it okay.
No.
Absolutely no. I don't think that's that.
All
John's
right.
not justifying it. He's
Yeah.
just explaining it.
Explaining it.
Okay.
Unionized baristas at Starbucks are planning to go on strike next week.
Good for them.
They want it to be the biggest strike ever. The planned strike on November 13th coincides with the company's popular Red Cup Day when they bring them out for Christmas time. The union, representing about 550 stores, accused Starbucks of refusing to fairly negotiate and have rejected the company's previous proposal. Starbucks claims it already offers competitive pay and benefits and is ready to negotiate if the union returns to the table.
It sounds like a perfectly good reason for Starbucks to start closing stores down.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. And McDonald's is seeing a boost in sales after bringing back some of its fan favorite items. Same-store sales reportedly increased by 3.6% for the July to September period after the snack wrap officially returned to U.S. menus, and sales slightly outperformed the 3.5% forecast. The data company Placer.ai also reported that traffic to McDonald's was 15% higher than average on the day snack wraps officially returned to the menu. Has anyone had one of these things?
I have. I have the first time they came out, and I think part of that is because it's not
slightly healthier.
Slightly, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
plays a part, and they're like $2.99.
Oh, they're cheaper. All right.
They're cheaper. So, like myself that works on the road, sometimes I didn't make a lunch, or I have, and I'm just snack hungry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why would their marketing department have eliminated it to start with if it's a very popular item?
Well, they
just
do
said-
that, though. They'll eliminate something to bring something
And then they'll
else
bring it
in.
back. They discontinued it in 2016, but then they do that with McRibs. They do
Yeah,
it with a
yeah,
McLobster
exactly.
sandwich. It creates demand.
Well, right now
okay.
they have a meal deal, and not that I'm promoting McDonald's or anything of the sort, but all of these fast food places do these meal deals that range from $5 to $8.
yeah.
And you can get a burger, a drink, a fry, McNuggets with that. So that, I guess they're all trying
Go
to,
to Beef Barn.
yeah. Well, Beef Barn, you can't beat Beef Barn. I mean, you
that's
get a
right.
great meal. You can't
And
beat
cheaper.
it. Yep.
All right. We got to run. The show has come to an end. So,
Wow.
Bob, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting me. Hope to be with you next week.
All right. And Sue, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the week.
All right. John, thanks for joining us.
And enjoy the full moon that's out there.
That's right. Yes. All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do remember it's coming up after the 9 o'clock news on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
NBC News Radio. I'm Michael Kastner. President Trump says New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani, who won as a Democrat, should be nicer to him. Trump called Mamdani's victory speech